Welcome into this Five Clubs conversation. I'm Emma Carpenter, and we are here at the end of the summer, which means the end of the summer golf season hereabout. But very shortly starting up is the fall college golf season. And I am lucky enough to be joined today by one of college golf's stars, and that is first team All-American at UCLA, Zoe Campos. Zoe also played this summer at the US Women's Open at Pebble Beach, where we got to meet, catch up, and chat about her week. So I'm very excited to follow up with her today about the US Women's Open, as well as the rest of her incredible career and what's coming up next for her. I know you're going to enjoy this lesson.
I think this is only a grip.
It's only my sole connection to this.
It's only in my hands on every single shot.
It's an extra 2 yards of carry when it matters most.
Yeah, only a grip.
Mine are only golf pride.
Respect the grip.
And with that, I welcome in Zoe Campos. Zoe, how are you? It's so good to see you again.
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. I say see you again, via Zoom, electronically, digitally. Not as nice as seeing you in person like I got to see you at Pebble Beach, but how are things? How are things going?
They're going well. I've just been kind of resting after the Open. I had one tournament after that, but other than that, I've just really been taking care of my body.
Yeah, that's really smart. When you say take a lot of time off, do you mean just tournaments or also golf in general? Do you do a lot of practicing or playing golf, or are you kind of just hanging out doing some other stuff?
I'm really just mainly like working out and all of that. I would say, I would take time off from tournaments, but I would practice a little bit, not a whole lot, not like preparing for a big tournament or something like that. It was just like a little bit of repetition, but nothing too big.
Yeah, well, I think that time off is very, very well deserved, and you have a college season coming up as well. So, Zoe, you have already had such an unbelievable career, and I want to talk about that with you today, as well as just your experiences this summer. So you have been a WGCA first team All-American, Golf Week first team All-American, All Pac-12 first team, Annika top 10 finalist. You got your first major start at the Chevron just this summer alone. You played in the Arnold Palmer Cup, helped Team USA pull out the win. I am out of breath just saying all this. You just recently played in the California Women's Am, took fifth place there, fifth place finish, really, really solid at the California Women's Am. And you're only 20, you're going to be a junior in college. So it is just so unbelievably impressive. And when I say all of that, when I just kind of rattle off all of these achievements and accomplishments, how does that make you feel? Do you think wow, I can't believe that all of this has happened?
Honestly, hearing you say it all now, I'm kind of in shock. I didn't really realize, I've done all those things. Obviously, I have, but I haven't really thought about it super in depth. But just looking at my accomplishments, I think it's super cool and I'm super proud of myself. Obviously, those are the things I did want to accomplish in college, and being able to play super high level tournaments has been my goals for this year, and I'm super happy to accomplish those goals, and obviously I have a lot more, and I hope I can do that this season.
You certainly have, and a lot more to come. And I do actually, it's funny you say that. I want to talk pretty much exactly about what you said about the goals of playing in the high level tournaments. That's something, when you put that into words as a goal, I think that there's something very special about just playing in high level tournaments. So I want to talk about that a little bit later. But, you talk about goals. And speaking of goals, back when you first started playing golf, as early as you could practically, I actually saw somewhere that you wrote 3 goals on your mirror when you were only 8 years old. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what those goals were?
So I don't actually remember, but I do remember one of the goals was to become number one when I become pro on the tour. So I think that was the most important goal that, I'm still working towards. But yeah, I honestly don't remember those goals. They were so long ago. So
But they were all golf related, right? And becoming the best golfer in the world.
yeah, they were.
Wow, to have that kind of drive and desire to achieve at that age is really impressive. When I was 8 years old, what was I even doing? Worried about like my American Girl dolls or something? I don't even know. I wish I had had that kind of like motivation, desire for myself. That's really, really cool. But how did you know at such a young age that you wanted to be a golfer?
Um, I think going out there with my dad and just, doing it for fun in the beginning and, just swinging a club, making putts. I think that's just when I really fell in love and like it was so different from everything else I've played. I mean, I was such a sport addict when I was younger and I loved to do anything like in school, whether it be just, throwing or playing handball or whatever. I'd always want to win, but playing golf was just different. I mean, going out there, you're playing against so many people and um just the determination and discipline it takes to play golf. I mean, I think that's, just what brought me into the game.
So even when you would say even when you were 8 years old, like the focus and discipline that it took to be a good golfer was something that you really enjoyed.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's so impressive. That's definitely how you know that the sport was meant for you or you were meant for the sport. You've made such an impact on the sport. But would you say when you first started playing that you knew right away how good you already were or how good you were going to become if I asked you that? Is it both? Is it one or the other? How would you say?
I would say I knew I could become really good. I think from the start, I mean, it kind of was just natural to me. Kind of just like my swing in general, I could just naturally hit the ball well. Um, and then I guess from there, I just like, oh, like this was something I want to do, and I kept working towards it. And then I was like, okay, one day I can be the best, or I can be really good at this.
After an unbelievable junior career, fast forward a little bit, including an very impressive finish at the Augusta National Women's Am, a fifth place finish when you were how old? How old were you? 15?
16.
16 at the Augusta National Women's Am, fifth place finish. I mean, and at that point you were already committed to play for UCLA, I believe. But I think it's so fascinating to talk with college golfers, college athletes in general, especially just because we've all had such different experiences. How with your recruiting process, when did you know, having been born in West Hills, California, you're a Californian, when did you know that you wanted to play for UCLA? Was it before you were being recruited?
Um, so yes, I mean, I think it was super early. I was actually 9. So they
Wow.
actually had the Pac-12 championships at my home course here in Valencia. And then obviously UCLA was playing, and one of the people I look up to, Allison Lee, who also went to UCLA, was also from Valencia. So we would practice together. She would kind of like teach me a little bit. And then I guess like she's always someone I looked up to ever since I was young and started golf. And I kind of wanted to follow in her footsteps. And then having the Pac-12s be there and just watching all the girls play. And I mean, just looking at, the UCLA bags, I mean, I thought it was so cool. And having it also be so close to home, I thought it was just perfect for me. And it was also my dream school. So,
When did you get on your coach's radar at UCLA, would you say?
mm, I think I was in 8th grade, I think. So I don't know how old that is, 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I remember doing an unofficial visit when I was like 13, 14. And I guess that's when it started. And then from there, they just kept watching me. And then later on, I think my freshman year, like 2 weeks into my freshman year of high school, they offered me. So I think it was a pretty quick process.
Especially if did you look at other schools?
No, I honestly did not. I like considered like other Pac-12 schools, but they weren't like something that I really wanted in my heart. I always wanted to go to UCLA, so my eyes were kind of already set.
You're still there now. You're going to be a junior. You've only played 2 years. You've been a huge part of the program. We talk about our dream schools, our dream achievements, our dream tournament, all the things, so many dreams that we have, right? And you say UCLA is your dream school. At the end of the day, not always our dreams aligned with reality, right? There's going to be ups and downs no matter where you go, no matter what happens. How would you say UCLA has it been lived up to what you originally thought? Would you say it's been everything you thought it would be?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's been a lot better than I thought it would be. I mean, coming in, just having the team, the coaches, the school, and just how pretty the campus is. I mean, everything about the school is so awesome, and just how they take care of you. I mean, I think that's with any school ever, but just having it be my dream school and being there now, it's been amazing. And I'm, super grateful to have had the opportunity to play there. And, I still have 2 more years and I'm just super excited for the rest. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely lived up to my expectations.
Wow. Well, it sounds like it has exceeded expectations actually too. So that is that's really great to hear. What would you say has been your favorite part about being at UCLA?
I would say just being with the girls. I mean, you know, having golf be such an individual sport and, turning golf into a team sport in college, I think it's so amazing. And I mean, the girls are obviously super sweet. And I mean, there's so much support from them. And, I give them so much support too. And, there's no else where I'd rather be. And I think it's just super, super awesome to be with them and just be with the coaches too. And just really bond together.
Well, I absolutely love that answer. That's probably something that I would say as well is what's made my experience. And, obviously Allison Lee was so much older than you, but just getting to experience a little bit of spending time with another girl who was such a good player and who so like someday you knew that when you played for UCLA, you would have teammates and you'd have that camaraderie and all of those experiences. I definitely feel the exact same way. So it sounds like you really lucked out and got some good teammates, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
So we got to talk about it a little bit um when you were in Pebble Beach and I was there watching and we got to chat a little bit. So you first of all qualified for the US Women's Open, the first US Women's Open ever being at Pebble Beach. You did it in your hometown at Valencia Country Club. And this was your 7th try. Unbelievable, so remarkable. I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to qualify for a US Open, but something that we got to talk about while we were in Pebble Beach is a little bit more about your college career, about from your freshman year to your sophomore year. You actually really had a click. Looking at all of your achievements your sophomore year at UCLA, you were 28 for 28 of counting rounds for your team. That is something that really stuck out to me. That's what's truly impressive, is the consistency, because so many good players can play really well and have good tournaments, but the fact that 28 out of 28 rounds that you played for your team this past year, every single one counted. That is so remarkable to me. And I want to talk to you about what it was that you feel like kind of caused that click, that infamous click that we talk about. And I feel like, as great as a player as you've been throughout your life, that difference between freshman year and sophomore year was definitely notable. And what would you attribute that to, would you say?
I mean, I would say my freshman year, to be honest, because, I didn't play well. I was struggling a bit. And then going into summer, I was like, okay, like, just, you can get it together. Like, we all have the downs. I mean, my year was not great at all. And, I was super disappointed with how I was playing. And I guess that really just motivated me to work harder and do better. Obviously, we don't know the outcomes, what they'll be. All I could do is work harder, but I guess, I don't know, something just in my mind was like, maybe this is your year. Like, you can do it this year. Like, just improve a little bit each day. And I guess that's what happened.
If I said you had to give me a percentage of what the difference was being mental and physical in the change that happened. If I said, was it 50% physical, 50% mental of the difference that I made in myself to make that change, how would you say that percentage is in the difference from your freshman year to your sophomore year?
I would say about 70% mental, 30% physical, because I knew I always had the physical part in me. I could hit the ball, I could chip, I could putt. I think it was more so mental for me, just, always asking why, like, why is this going on? Like, why can't I just play good? Like, I knew I had it in me, but I guess going into sophomore year or the summer of sophomore year, it was just pretty much all mental, I would say.
And the way that you described it just a second ago as well, is it was like a conversation that you had with yourself of, I'm gonna cut it out and I'm gonna do it? Or is it something that you worked on with your dad or with your swing coach or your college coaches? What were these conversations like that really made the difference, even if it's a conversation with yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much just talking to myself. I think talking to yourself is super important, especially, you wouldn't want anyone else. I mean, if you talk negatively about yourself, you wouldn't want that for someone else. So I like just kind of switched that up and, started telling myself I can do it. You have it. It's just a matter of time, and, you just keep working hard and it'll show.
Right. So would you say that a lot of it is confidence, it sounds like?
Yeah, I mean, I think confidence is a big thing. I think that definitely played a big part in how I played. Going into tournaments, I knew I could play well. And I kept telling myself that. And, I guess if you just convince yourself, it kind of all goes the right way sometimes. But yeah, it was confidence definitely played a big part.
I definitely could take a page out of your book and just saying, cut it out and play well, Emma. That's what I need. Like I mentioned, we got to talk about what we're chatting about right now a little bit in Pebble Beach. You were in Pebble Beach because you qualified for the US Women's Open. And something I got to speak with your father a little bit, and something that really, really stuck out to me. I've actually told a lot of people about it because I thought it was really cool. He said, I said, we were talking about your qualifier and how it was your seventh qualifier, and you guys were so excited that you finally got it done. And I said, wow, how neat too, at your home course, and very, very special. And he said, yeah, I've told Zoe that we're gonna do every qualifier. I mean, this includes US Open, USAM, all the qualifiers that you've ever played in. He said, we're gonna do it in California closest to us, the closest one to us. And if she doesn't qualify, then she doesn't deserve to go. And I don't care if it's the toughest competition. I don't care if it's the toughest course. I don't care if it's the toughest qualifier. Like, that's the one we're going to go to. And I was like, wow, that is so cool, and a really good way to think about it. Because I mean, I know a lot of people who choose to, travel to qualifiers because the course suits their game really well, or sometimes scheduling, it's just kind of where it works out. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea at all to travel to a course that suits your game, because getting to the tournament is really important, obviously. But I thought that was so interesting that he said, we're going to go to the closest one, and that's how it's going to be. How do you feel about, that philosophy?
Well, I mean, I definitely agree with my dad. I think California's super competitive, and I mean, no matter the course here, I think he just wants me to, achieve something where it was a little bit more competitive and a little bit more difficult. Because I mean, me and him think that no matter, where you go or wherever you play or who you're playing with, I mean, it's your game. And I mean, no matter the course you play, even if it's harder than one other, I mean, your game is going to get you there. It doesn't matter, like, the difficulty or anything really. I think he just, wanted to push me a little bit. And I mean, I would agree with him. I pushed myself too. I mean, I wouldn't want to play a qualifier that's like somewhere a little bit easier or somewhere where the field isn't as strong.
Right.
I think it just, also gives you confidence. And, even if I don't make it or I do make it, and if I'm close or whatnot, I think it improves your game just because of the competitiveness.
Yeah, that's really neat to hear you say. It actually reminds me, when you were saying that just now, it reminds me of the way I believe it was Annika Sorenstam when she first started playing, and she talked about the concept of qualifying, and she talked about how it was like a win-win type of situation where, if you don't qualify, then this applies to things like Monday qualifiers and everything like that. If you don't qualify, then you had an opportunity to learn and, assess your game in that qualifier, in that field, and under that pressure, and you have that to work on. And if you did qualify, then you have the opportunity to play in this event where you learn so much. And like, it was genuinely, like Annika said, it is a win-win no matter what happens. And I thought that was really, really neat to hear. And what makes a really good golfer, and the fact that you just said, I want to play no matter where I go, no matter who I face, no matter the golf course, I'm going to play my game. And if I don't qualify, at least, I mean, it was the strongest field, and everything that you just said, I was like, wow, that's makes a lot of sense. There's always something to learn no matter what happens, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Fast forward after the qualifier and then to the US Women's Open this summer. Just overall, I can't even imagine the experience for you having been at your first US Women's Open. How would you describe it now that it's all over? I know we got to spend most of our time together before you played. Now that it's all over, how would you describe your experience?
I would say it was pretty amazing. I mean, having my coach on the back, having my parents there, having it be at Pebble, I thought it was just super cool and just, I mean, to experience a major tournament at, still while still in college, I mean, I think that's, just the way I think of it is just one step closer to what I want to be. And, obviously I didn't play well and, I was frustrated and disappointed with that. But then, I sat down and I was just thinking to myself that it just makes me want it more, makes me want to be out there with the pros. Um, and I mean, I think just playing with the pros, seeing all the people, walking the fairways, I mean, it was just like a dream and just a glimpse of like what my future could be on tour.
I love that. That's absolutely right. Just a glimpse of what it's going to be. This actually wasn't it was your first US Open, but it wasn't your first major. You played in your first major in the Chevron Championship not too long before. So, I mean, how would you describe your comfort level at the US Open? It wasn't your first major, like I said, and you've already competed so much at really, really high levels. Obviously that definitely would help you in your comfort level, but how would you still describe your comfort level at Pebble that week?
I would say I was pretty comfortable. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I just love playing big tournaments. Obviously, I've played big tournaments before, and I think the environment is so different, and I just love that feeling. And being out there, I was super just excited, and I wanted to play. And I mean, gosh, I don't know. It was kind of crazy. I mean, I think I'm super comfortable out there, just what I'm doing. I don't think, I ever get, anxiety or when I'm playing golf. I love being out there. And I mean, having it be my second major, I think obviously it made it a little bit, or made it for me a little bit more comfortable. But I mean, I love the crowd. I love just, I mean, the setting is just amazing.
Well, that's how you know you're meant to be out there, that you feel really comfortable. Girl, I get so nervous. Do you not get nervous when you play golf?
I do. I mean, it depends on the situation. I mean, I'm always nervous on the first tee, but then after that, I'm fine. I'm kind of like smooth sailing, but um, yeah, it all just depends on the situation.
Yeah, the first tee gets you every single time. If anybody told me they weren't nervous on the first tee, I would be shocked. So I said we were going to get to this later on when you talked about the goal of playing in big tournaments, right? I feel like at the end of the day, we can prepare all we want, but it's the actual experience that gets us better at the sport and better the next time that we're there, right? I mean, you can prepare all you want to play in the US Open, but there's no doubt that the next US Open you play in will be even better, just solely based off of the experience that you had. With that being said, will you change anything about your approach for the next US Open that you play in?
I definitely wouldn't change anything. Obviously, I worked hard and I, took every bit of my game just one step or one level up. When I was practicing, but I definitely wouldn't change anything. I mean, I prepared as much as I could, like you said. Um, that's all you can do. I mean, heading into a tournament, you want to feel good about your game, but you never know what could happen as long as, you're physically prepared and mentally prepared. I mean, that's all you can ask for and all you can do for yourself. And, it's just, a matter of what happens out there.
That's absolutely right. Was there anything that week that surprised you?
Um, I would say, I mean, I was going to say how difficult the course was, but it's a US Open course, so but I mean, no, I mean, I think just everything about it was super cool and super amazing. And I mean, to see so many people out there and so many, little girls out there just watching us, I think that was, amazing. And just for me to inspire those would was something, like I'd love to do also.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. The direction that women's golf is going is really, really, really exciting. And when I see young girls getting into the game, and especially if they're out there watching tournaments, it is so cool. I think it's the coolest thing ever. You said that the course was playing a lot harder than you thought it would. Well, probably you're just not used to like golf ever being hard for you, but what made it so tough, would you say?
I would say the rough, obviously it's super thick. And then the
Classic
greens were,
US.
yeah, the greens were super firm. It was hard to really stop the ball.
Right. Well, especially downwind when the wind's so strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the wind too played a big factor.
Right. I mean, it's always going to be windy there, and
Yeah.
good players play well in wind. Because the thing about wind is that you can't fake it in the wind.
Mhm.
You need to strike the ball well, and you need to control the spin on the golf ball.
Yeah.
But mostly, you would say just it was firm and fast, and rough was long.
Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like US Open. So Zoe, you are such a remarkable golfer. You're top 60 amateur in the world, only 20 years old, just finished up your sophomore year of college, just played in the US Women's Open. Is there something that you wish everyday golfers understood about the competitive space when we talk about Pebble and how difficult it is? Is there something that you wish that people who just play regular leisurely golf, something that you wish they understood?
Um, I would say I kind of wish they understood how much work you have to put in to really be good and to really play well. Because I think a lot of, golfers that just, play out there for fun or just play around, I think, and they get mad like about a shot or whatever. Like to me, I feel like, you know, you're out there for fun, you don't need to, have any like anger towards it because you're not
Right,
working as hard as
right.
we do. But yeah, I think that's one thing a lot of golfers don't really understand.
That is so funny that you say that. I've said to a couple of my friends who don't play golf, who will play for fun and then be really frustrated. I'll say, I don't think you've earned the right to be frustrated with this.
Yeah.
I say to my father, Zoe, my father, love him to death. He gets so frustrated. He like plays golf a lot and he gets really frustrated when he doesn't play well. And I'm same with my mom. She loves to play. And I say to them, when's the last time you practiced? Like, you don't practice. How are you
Yeah.
gonna get better?
Yeah, exactly.
So before I move into our five clubs, five questions, the way we wrap up every single episode here. We got to chat for a second about your college season. What's your college season looking like? What are you looking forward to? It's going to start soon here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to, I mean, just we kind of have a new team right now. We have four new girls coming in, one's a freshman and three new transfers, and then we have a new assistant coach and our old assistant coach being new head coach. I think I'm just super excited for just the new environment, like a new team, a new setting. I mean, I think, all the girls are great and I think we're gonna have a really good season and, hopefully, all turns out well. But yeah, I'm just super, super excited for the new setting.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. How neat. Something funny about golf is our teams are so small that the team is always different each year. There's new people coming in, there's people who had left, but you, especially with the coaching change, and it sounds like you got a lot of new teammates. So that's definitely exciting. Have you gotten to kind of meet some people already and touch base a little bit before the season's going to start?
Yeah, I mean, I know all the girls right now. We've seen each other at tournaments and all of that. So we've chatted a bit. But yeah, they're all super sweet and yeah, just super excited for them to come in and experience the UCLA world.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's your favorite like hangout spot at UCLA?
Definitely the GIF. So it's our on-campus practice facility. And we have like a little building for us just to like hang out and stuff. I take a lot of naps there. And
Nice.
then I'll just like go out and put a few balls or chips. So I'm always out there, and if I'm not, then I'm on the course.
That is that is so funny. Like you probably never leave
No.
if you're right. I mean, it's like you got your hangout spot, you can relax, you can go out and play, practice, whatever. You probably never leave.
No, I barely do. I mean, one time I left, I don't know, like 10 p.m. But
Do you do
I
homework
I
there
just
too?
love hanging out there.
Yeah. You do homework there too?
Yeah, I do everything there. Homework, eat, sleep, just watch TV.
Good deal. Well, it's all you need.
Yeah.
All you need. The golf. That's all. I mean, that's as a college golfer, student athlete. Good for you. You got to put the student in student athlete as well. Alrighty, so I'm gonna wrap it up here with our 5 clubs, 5 questions. Number one, how many hours a week would you say you spend practicing? And like in a peak time of year?
Mm, I need to calculate 1 second. I would say 24 to 30 hours.
It's a lot of hours when you need like a calculator to figure it out. It's a perfect follow-up to our last question of people who don't practice, that people don't understand how much work it takes to be a good player, right?
Yeah.
It's almost a full-time job.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, number 2, who would you say is the biggest inspiration for you in the game of golf?
I would say Allison Lee and Rory.
Love it. Love it. We got to hear a little bit about Allison Lee. Why Rory, would you say?
I think just Rory because he's so passionate and so motivated to do well and do well for the sport. I just think he's a great golfer, obviously, but I think he just has a great mindset towards the game.
Totally agree. He's my favorite too. Um, all right. Love this question. Number 3. This is one of my favorites. Do you have any superstitions?
Oh yeah. So, um, for every round, I have to use a different ball marker. And then I have, when I mark the pins in the book, I have to use the same colors. I would like say like round 1 for another tournament, and then say I would use like orange, and then round 1 for a tournament in the future, I would use orange, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there more?
Um, Not that I can think of.
Wait, so did you say, am I understanding you correctly? You use a different ball marker for every single round?
Yeah.
That's That's a lot of ball markers. Where do you get, do you just use ones from the course? Why are you swapping them in so quickly?
No, so we always get like new ball markers from school. Like our coach just like orders so many ball markers. But I mean, I like rotate. I kind of we have like I don't know how many I have, like 7, 10. But
Okay. So every round in the tournament can't be the same ball marker.
yes.
We're just like here. I was thinking it was like a use it once, throw it away. I can't use it again. I was like,
No.
that is, what a shame. They got all these team ball markers. You're using it once.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's when I feel like I switch the ball marker if I'm not putting well, and then if I'm putting really well, I keep the ball marker. But that's my superstition.
I don't know. I'm different.
Alrighty. No, is it the same way with the like the marker too? Like if you used that ball marker for round 1 of the last tournament, you're gonna use the ball marker for round 1 of the next tournament, or no?
No.
Okay. Just a rotation.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So funny. I think my favorite thing about last thing I'll say about the superstitions. I think what's so funny to me about it is that I'm proud of you for saying, yes, I do. I think I've said this on another podcast too before. One of the funniest things to me is I'll ask people sometimes if they have any superstitions, and they'll be like, no, not really. I just like have to wear one hat, and like I have to wear this color socks, and like it's like, I'm like, that's totally a superstition.
Yeah.
Golfers are so crazy. People like, sometimes we like to think we're not crazy, but we are.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. What is an embarrassing moment that's happened to you on the golf course? If you can think of one.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever had anything embarrassing happen to me. I don't know. If I had one, I would definitely speak up on it.
Nothing. Not embarrassed. I embarrass myself all the time, so I'm just used to it.
I don't think so.
Good for you. We'll swap in another one. I almost asked you this question, but I'm gonna ask, but I ran out of one, so whatever. We'll swap this one in. What is, never asked somebody this on a podcast. You're the first. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Me too. Is it like your favorite color to look at or your favorite color to wear?
Both.
Number 5. What is your favorite golf course that you have ever played?
Liberty National.
Nice.
It's kind of in between Liberty and Augusta.
Well, Zoe, with all of this being said, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It's been so much fun catching up, and nice to follow up after seeing you at Pebble as well.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me.
Best of luck to you in your college season coming up, and I hope I'll see you soon.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much, Zoe Campos, for joining me today on 5 Clubs. It was so great to catch up and follow up after the U.S. Women's Open, and we so look forward to following the rest of Zoe's college career and professional career someday. So thanks so much, Zoe, and thanks, listeners, for tuning in today on 5 Clubs. We'll see you next time.